Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today it's me again, and I'm in the Prinz Rupprecht, a tier 9 German battleship. And hello mines. Yep, that works. So anyway, I'm on the map Mountain Range. It's a 3-point domination game, and it's god tier matchmaking. Not only am I top tier, and there is no carrier and no sub. Look at the enemy battleships. Pommern, Tirpitz, Gneisenau, and YOLO, which I'm probably mispronouncing. But anyway, none of those battleships overmatches my nose. Or my rear for that matter. Now, why am I concerned about that in a battleship? Well, let's have a look at this nose. So, as you can see, there is a huge 27mm part, and then there is a tiny 30mm icebreaker. And, you know, 30mm ain't that great either. So, as you can see, this is slightly problematic. Like the 27mm part of the Rupprecht's nose is just huge, and once people figure this out, you're going to be so screwed. And like, you know, most battleships you meet, or almost all battleships you meet, are gonna overmatch the 27mm, and a lot of them are even going to overmatch the 30mm, and this is kind of a very amazing matchmaking on my part, because there are so many 380mm ships that my nose is actually doing its job right now, and not just gonna get penetrated all over. So Mainz is still coming closer for some reason. Now, of course, as is usual, the ships that are most passive are the top tier battleships, the top tier brawling battleships. Also, mind you, like most of the enemies seem to be at A, and most of our team is at C. And for some reason, there are even more ships incoming. Now, the enemy mines is a little bit too aggressive. Yeah, I'm not sure why he pushed up that close to a camp in a mines, but it's not necessarily a good idea. Now, the enemy Kita tried to go in here and contest, and I mean, he has an island there, sort of as cover, but I just pushed in with a hydro. And because we have so many ships I can do that, I can just push in. And now the Kita was like, you know what, screw this. He's going for one last hero. What's the problem with this is, I have a hydro. Now what he would have needed to do is, he would have needed to sail closer to get torps that I can't dodge. But I mean, come on, like, this isn't even a challenge. So yeah, the Kita I guess panicked, and you see the enemy Pommern's already on the run. Now if the enemy Pommern's would have been a little bit more, I mean, you know, we have more ships than they do. So I can understand that they wanna potentially disengage. But honestly, if I were those two Pommern's, because I think they're divisioned, right, I would have at least tried to hold position here around those islands. Make the islands work as a bit of cover, and once we push in, roll. Pommern is a very strong ship close up. It does have torpedoes, it does have hydro, and it does have good secondaries. Now, while the Pommerns are running away, the Eger on the other hand is pushing in. Now, the Eger also has torpedoes, but you know, it's still just a cruiser. And it's gonna get farmed rather quickly here by our might. Also, I mean, I can use this island to be torpedo safe. Probably. Now the Eger keeps coming. Of course, once the Eger passes this part of the island, I won't be able to dodge, so I need to either sink it fast enough or accelerate. And, you know, the torpedo did it. But I was thinking, right, I can potentially, like, shoot it when only its nose passes. Because it was so low. But anyway. We've successfully cleared out the sea cap. So basically, the enemy cruisers that should have been more passive were way too aggressive, and the enemy battleships that should have been more aggressive were way too passive. So that works for us. Now, we lost the A side, obviously, but we've only lost one ship there, actually. While the enemy lost, like, 3 here. So, that's nice. Well, okay, we've lost 2 ships over there, I guess. Now, those Pommerns keep running away. Now, at this point, that might actually be a good idea. Although, if I were those Pommerns, I'd try to slow down slightly so that they're in secondary range. Now, obviously, the Rupprecht also has good secondaries, so it would be like an equal thing, right? If their secondaries shoot, mine shoot. But there is two of them. If they're both slow down to secondary range, and both of the secondaries farm me, it's gonna be beneficial to them. But, you know, I mean, I'm almost in secondary range of one Pommern. And my secondaries go. Now, I don't see any secondary return fire. That could mean two things. Either they are not secondary built, or they are not fully secondary, like they're missing the flag. And, you know, I mean, it's not like you can get flags these days. I mean, for achievements. You can buy the flags in the armory, though, for credits. So if you, like, need more secondary flags, for example, and you don't have any left, you can. If you have the credits, you can just get them from the armory. But yeah, that might just be the issue, right? If they don't have secondary flags, then I just slightly outrange them. But once again, all they have to do is slow down slightly. Which, considering that their force is now coming around here, they should actually do, right? At this point, the Pommerns should be turning around and should be pushing back into us. Because they wanna, you know, create a crossfire with those guys, and they definitely, like, look at how many of our team is focusing on those ships. And I'm gonna do the same, because those two Pommerns are irrelevant, right? And since I have decent concealment, I won't even be spotted for much longer. I can't quite remember if I had concealment expert on this. I mean, I don't know the new concealments of new battleships by heart. So I'd have to check that, I guess. But, you know, I think I'm running fire prevention here. Not even concealment expert. Still, I have pretty good concealment anyway. Be that as it may, you know, now one of the Pommerns is turning around, but they are already a little bit too late, right? The Pommerns would have needed to turn around about 2 minutes earlier. And, you know, because I was still actually coming a little bit their way, and most of my team had already turned around. So I was personally a little bit late with stopping my pursuit there. If they had turned around sooner, they would have killed me already. And now they would be threatening our force here a lot, right? And I mean, we have the lead, but it's only a 2-ship lead. If they can get like a good crossfire there, and if I can come in secondaries blazing, that would actually be pretty devastating to us, possibly. Speaking of devastation, hello Mogami. Yeah, well, that was a lucky shot, but you know, like. So I'm now angling against the Pommern, and once again, one of the nice things, obviously, is Pommerns only have 380mm guns, so they can overmatch neither my nose nor my rear. I have to say that I've had some pleasant games in the Rupprecht so far, but mostly I think it's because a lot of ships just don't know the armor layout here. It's always like, those ships have only just recently been fully released. So a lot of people will have no idea how the armor looks like, and if you see like a tier 9 battleship nose, you don't just expect, oh yeah, I can just go straight through that, right? You'd expect the nose to be bouncy. And once more people figure that out, you're going to be in a world of pain, especially consider how just large and massive that nose is. So if you like go to show a little bit of broadside, they'll, you know, the nose extends. I mean, not show broadside. If you go in angle, right, to use your rear guns, you're exposing a huge chunk of that nose that they can just overmatch. Now the Pommerns now keep coming in, but you see, just, you know, we could just ignore them, right? The Pommerns were always too far away to be that much of a threat. And by the time they decided to come back pushing in, they have no team left now that they can help. Keep in mind that Pommerns have not very good main guns, right? They have a lot of them, but they are rather inaccurate. So, you know, like even 15, 17 kilometers, you see they can't even sink the Chapayev. So yeah, that's a division of top tier brawling battleships, and you know, they've just run away the entire time. And you know what the sad part is? If they had made a stand at sea at first, possibly wouldn't have been the best idea, but it would have been a lot better situation than they would be now, right? Back then, they actually had 3 ships there helping them. They could have tried to fight with them, but instead they just ran away at the first sign of our fleet. And now they're in an even worse position, because now they have no backup, and they have our entire focus just for them. And now finally, we let the secondaries do the talking. Now we can see they are secondary shooting, so I think they are secondary build, they're just missing the flag, which, you know, is understandable. You'd have to spend credits on them, you can't earn them anymore. It's also interesting to see that, you know, they immediately start disengaging again. Like, at this point, why? You're a pommer. You're not doing well when you're just trying to run away there, right? If I also like the way to broadside there for the pommer in the bank. If they'd just kept pushing us nose in, secondaries blazing on both sides, possibly even getting into torpedo range. I mean, they are turning this game around, but they could get a lot more damage out of it, right? At this point, none of our ships are going to be playing careful. We're just gonna push them as hard as we can. So if they counter push, they should even get torps off and just, you know, get a little bit more fun and damage out of him. Now that Pommen has finally decided to do so, but now he's all alone. Well, there's still a Mogam. I think my secondary's got this. No way, yeah, exactly. My secondary's got this. And now, oh, the Pommen is gonna go broadsiding. Way too obsessed with showing broadside. Or is this like, or is he like turning to use torps? I mean, he's now close enough that I'm probably sailing into his torps if he launches them now. I do have a hydro though, so... Well, and we're almost at 1,000 points, so is he going to sink first, or is... Are we reaching 1,000 points? Probably going to sink, I guess. There are his torps. Yeah, right back. So yeah, this was a great game where I could just push in a Rupprecht and great things happened. But keep in mind that was not normal matchmaking, in a sense that I've only encountered battleships that lack the caliber to go for my nose. And very often when you play a Rupprecht, you just get you get to feel the overmatch, and it hurts a lot. So right now, a lot of people still aren't aware of that, so there's still a good time to grind the Rupprecht, but I have a feeling that as time continues, the Rupprecht will decline in its popularity because nose overmatch hurts. And if you actually go in brawling, you're basically a cruiser. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.